Rise and shine, porcupine. Good morning. Thank you for coming back. Hold on one moment. I'm here with you early this morning. And once again, my name is Tamika Collins. And you can follow me here. Click, subscribe, like, share, all that good situation. And you can also reach me on Facebook, same thing, Tamika Collins, or my TikTok, which is coffee, COFEPH, which I'm having this morning. It's delicious. Excuse my voice. And then my Instagram is Coffee Sings, COFEPHSINGS. Thank you once again. We are reading the Bible. We are in Genesis, starting with chapter 8 and hopefully doing chapter 9. I did them previously, but I had low storage on my phone, so it had cut them into two pieces, and I didn't want to bring them into two pieces. I wanted to be a good, the 12, 15 minutes, that we have. So you can get the whole thing instead of having to come back, but do come back, watch the other ones too, all that good stuff. So, little recap of where we were, because it has been a few days, excuse me. We recap, and God has ordered that they get into the boat, Noah and his wife and his sons and their wives. God has opened the earth and it's raining everything. Cats, dogs, flies, all of them, everything. For 40 days and 40 nights. And they are on the ship with these animals of the earth and the air, because the sea was already in the sea, so they don't need to come in. That's their habitat. But they are in the boat for months and months. Until God dries the earth and the bird comes back with one of the birds comes back with a olive branch, and then he sets a dove out, and the dove doesn't come back, so now he knows that it is safe to open the doors of the church. Okay, so the flood resides. We on chapter 8. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and livestock with him on the boat. He sent a wind to blow across the earth, and the flood waters began to recede. The underground waters stopped flowing, and the torrential rains from the skies were stopped. So the flood waters gradually receded from the earth. After 150 days, exactly 5 months from the time the flood began, the boat came to a rest on the mountains of Ararat. 2.5 months later, as the waters continued to go down, other mountain peaks became visible. After another 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the boat and released a raven. Sorry, so I was ahead of myself. The bird flew back and forth until the flood waters on the earth had dried up. He also released a dove to see if the water had receded and it could find dry ground. But the dove could find no place to land because the water still filled the ground. So he returned to the boat, and Noah held out his hand and drew the dove back inside. After waiting another 7 days, Noah released the dove again. This time the dove returned to him in the evening with a fresh olive leaf in its beak. Then Noah knew that the flood waters were almost gone. He waited another 7 days and then released the dove again. This time it did not come back. Noah was now 601 years old. On the first day of the new year, 10.5 months after the flood began, the flood waters had almost dried from the earth. 10.5 months? That's almost a year, y'all. Okay. That's a lot of water. Noah lifted back the covering of the boat and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. 2 more months went by, so that was a year and a half. And at last the earth was dry. Then God said to Noah, "Leave the boat, all of you. You and your wife and your sons and their wives release all the animals, the birds, the livestock, and the small animals that scurry along the ground, so they can be fruitful and multiply throughout the earth. So Noah, his wife, and his sons and their wives left the boat, and all of the large and small animals and birds came out of the boat, pair by pair. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and there he sacrificed the burnt offerings, the animals and birds that had been approved for that purpose. And the Lord was pleased with the aroma of the sacrifice and said to himself, I will never again curse the ground because of the human race, even though everything they think or imagine is bent toward evil from childhood. I will never again destroy all living things. As long as the earth remains, there will be planting and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. Chapter 9, Repopulating the Earth. God confirms his covenant. Then God blessed Noah and his sons and told them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth, all the animals of the earth, all the birds of the sky, all the small animals that scurry along the ground, all the fish in the sea will look on you with fear and terror. I have placed them in your power. I have given them to you for food, just as I have given the grain and the vegetables. But you must never eat any meat that still has the lifeblood in it. And I will require the blood of anyone who takes another person's life. If a wild animal kills a person, it must die. And anyone who murders a fellow human must die. If anyone takes a human life, that person's life will also be taken by human hands. For God made human beings in his own image. Now be fruitful and multiply and repopulate the earth. Then God told Noah, his sons, and his sons, I hereby confirm my covenant with you and your descendants, and with all the animals that were on the boat with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, every living creature on earth. Yes, I am confirming my covenant with you. Never again will flood waters kill all the living creatures. Never again will a flood destroy the earth. Then God said, I am giving you a sign of my covenant with you and with all living creatures for all generations to come. I have placed my rainbow in the clouds. It is the sign of my covenant with you and with all the earth. When I send the clouds over the earth, the rainbow will appear in the clouds, and I will remember my covenant with you and with all living creatures. Never again will the flood waters destroy all earth. When I see the rainbow in the clouds, I will remember the eternal covenant between God and every living creature on earth. Then God said to Noah, yes, this rainbow is the sign of my covenant. I am confirming with all the creatures of the earth. Noah's sons. The sons of Noah who came out of the boat with their father were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. From their 3 sons of Noah came all the people who now populate the earth. After the flood, Noah began to cultivate the ground, and he planted a vineyard. One day he drank some wine he had made, and he became drunk and lay naked inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw that his father was naked and went outside and told his brothers. Then Shem and Japheth took a robe, held it over their shoulders, and backed into the tent to cover their father. As they did this, they looked the other way so they would not see him naked. When Noah woke up from his stupor, he learned what Ham, his youngest son, had done. Then he cursed Canaan, the son of Ham. May Canaan be cursed. May he be the lowest of servants to his relatives. Then Noah said, may the Lord, the God of Shem, be blessed, and may Canaan be his servant. May God expand the territory of Japheth. May Japheth share the prosperity of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. Noah lived another 350 years after the great flood. So altogether he lived 950 years and then he died. So that is that. Let me see if we can get chapter 10 in. Okay. Let's see. We're about to get into all these names. Woo, Jesus. Okay, this is the account of the families of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the three sons of Noah. Many children were born to them after the great flood, the descendants of Japheth. The descendants of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Meda, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. The descendants of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Tagomar. Excuse me, I know I'm butchering these names. The descendants of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. Their descendants became the seafaring peoples that spread out to various lands, each identified by its own language, clan, and national identity. The descendants of Ham. The descendants of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, Canaan, and Canaan. The descendants of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Saptika. The descendants of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush was also the ancestor of Nimrod, who was the first heroic warrior on earth. Since he was the greatest hunter in the world, his name became proverbial. People would say, this man is like Nimrod, the greatest hunter in the world. He built his kingdom in the land of Babylonia with the cities of Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. From there, he expanded his territory to Assyria, building the cities of Nineveh, Rehoboth, Kala, and Rezin, the great city located between Nineveh and Kala. Mizraim was the ancestor of Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Naphtuhites, Pathrazites, Casluhites, and the Caphtorites, from whom the Philistines came. Canaan's oldest son was Sidon, the ancestor of the Sidonians. Canaan was also the ancestor of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zamorites, and Hamathites. The Canaanite clans eventually spread out, and the territory of Canaan extended from Sidon to the north of Gerar and Gaza in the south and east, as far as Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim near Lasha. These are the descendants of Ham, identified by clan, language, territory, and national identity. The descendants of Shem. Sons were also born to Shem, the older brother of Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the descendants of Eber. The descendants of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Asphazad, Lud, and Aram. The descendants of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. As Arphazad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber had two sons. The first name was Peleg, which means division. For during this lifetime, the people of the world were divided into two different language groups. His brother's name was Joktan. Joktan was the ancestor of Almodad, Shalif, Hazramaveth, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Adbimal, Sheba, Aphir, Havilah, and Joab. All these were descendants of Joktan. The territory with occupied extended from Mesha all the way to Sephar in the eastern mountains. These are the descendants of Shem, identified by the clan, language, and territory, and the national identity.